Most conversations between men and women go exactly the same way. What do you do? Where are you from? How was your week? Safe, predictable, forgettable. And by the end of it, both people know a collection of facts about each other, but feel absolutely nothing. And then there's that rare conversation, the kind that starts normally, and then somewhere in the middle, something shifts. The energy changes. The answers get longer. The eye contact holds differently. And by the end of it, she's not just interested, she feels genuinely connected to you in a way she can't fully explain. The difference between those two conversations isn't luck, bro. It's not chemistry. It's the quality of the questions being asked. Because the right question at the right moment doesn't just gather information. It creates an emotional experience. It makes someone feel seen in a way that most people spend their entire lives looking for. 5 questions, psychology behind why they work, and how to use them naturally. Let's get into it. Question number 1. What's something you're genuinely excited about right now? This question works on multiple levels simultaneously, and it's the perfect one to open with early in a conversation. First, it immediately separates you from every other guy who asked about her job or her weekend. It signals that you're interested in her inner world, what excites her, what she's investing her energy in, rather than just her surface-level biography. Second, it puts her in a positive emotional state immediately. When someone talks about something, they're genuinely excited about their energy shifts. Their face changes. Their words come faster and with more color. And here's the psychological key. She will unconsciously associate that positive emotional state with you because you're the one who created the conditions for it. Third, her answer tells you something real about who she is. What someone is genuinely excited about reveals their values, their personality, and what makes them feel alive. That's more useful information in 30 seconds than an hour of standard small talk would give you. Ask it with genuine curiosity. Listen to the actual answer. Follow the thread of what she shares rather than moving to your next question. Question number 2, what did you want to be when you were a kid? And how far off is your life from that? This question is more layered than it first appears, and that's exactly what makes it so effective. On the surface, it seems like a fun, nostalgic question, and it is, which is why it doesn't feel heavy or intense when you ask it. But underneath it opens a door to something much more meaningful. Her answer about what she wanted to be as a child reveals something about her original dreams, who she was before the world told her what was practical. And her answer about how far her life is from that reveals her relationship with those dreams, whether she's at peace with where she ended up or still privately reaching for something else. That second part of the question is where real vulnerability lives. And when someone shares something even slightly vulnerable with you, when they let you see something beneath the surface, emotional connection deepens immediately. The follow-up question writes itself. Whatever she shares, whether it's funny, wistful, or surprising, your response should acknowledge the feeling underneath the answer, not just the content of it. That acknowledgement is what makes her feel truly heard. Question number 3. What's something most people get wrong about you? This is one of the most psychologically powerful questions you can ask someone you've just met or are getting to know. And here's exactly why. Every person alive carries a gap between how they're perceived by the world and how they actually experience themselves internally. Most people spend significant mental energy aware of this gap, knowing there are parts of themselves that people consistently misread or overlook. When you ask this question, you're giving her permission to close that gap, to show you something real that most people never think to ask about, to be seen more accurately than she usually is. And being seen accurately, being understood beyond the surface impression, is one of the deepest psychological needs humans have. Most conversations never get near it. Her answer will almost always reveal something genuinely surprising, something that shifts how you see her. And that shift, that moment where your perception of someone changes and deepens, is one of the primary building blocks of real connection. Ask it after the conversation has already built some warmth, not as an opener, but once there's enough comfort for her to actually want to answer honestly. Question number 4. What's the best decision you've ever made that most people thought was crazy? This question does something very specific. It invites her to talk about herself from a position of strength rather than explanation. Most questions about someone's life, where are you from? What do you do? How long have you been here? Put people in a slightly passive position. They're answering for context, filling in biography. But this question asks her to talk about a moment where she trusted herself against external opinion and turned out to be right. That's an inherently empowering memory to access. And accessing it in your presence means she feels that sense of strength and confidence while she's talking to you. Again, emotional association. She feels good talking to you, and that feeling becomes part of how she experiences you. The answers to this question are also almost always genuinely interesting. A career change people thought was stupid. A relationship she ended that everyone said she should maintain. A risk she took that paid off. Real stories with real texture. And real stories create real connection in a way that small talk never can. Question number 5. What do you think you'd regret not doing if you're being honest with yourself? This is your deepest question, and it should only be asked when the conversation has already reached a level of genuine warmth and openness. Not in the first 10 minutes, but in that space where both of you have already shared something real and the conversation has its own momentum. Because this question asks for something genuinely vulnerable. It asks someone to access what they actually want, not what they've settled for, not what they've told themselves is enough, but what they privately know they'd regret leaving undone. Most people rarely get asked this. Most people rarely even ask it of themselves honestly. When someone answers this question with you, when they actually let themselves go there, something shifts in the interaction. The conversation stops being a conversation and starts being an experience. Something memorable, something that distinguishes you from every other person she'll talk to this week or this month. And the man who creates that kind of experience, who makes someone feel that level of genuine connection, is not someone she forgets easily. Here's the thread running through all 5 of these questions, bro. None of them are tricks. None of them are designed to manipulate or manufacture feelings that aren't there. Every single one of them is just a better way of being genuinely interested in another human being. The reason they work is simple. Most conversations stay on the surface because most
You
people
are
are afraid of going
absolutely
deeper.
hilarious.
They stick to safe
I
topics
know,
because
right?
vulnerability
I
feels
can't believe we're
risky
here.
and depth feels presumptuous.
Me neither.
But when
This
you
is
ask
perfect.
a question that goes beneath the surface with genuine curiosity, without agenda, it creates an experience that most people are genuinely hungry for. The experience of being actually known rather than just encountered. That's not a trick. That's one of the most human things you can offer another person. Start with question 1 in your next conversation. See where it goes. You don't need all 5 in one interaction. One genuinely good question asked at the right moment and followed with real attention is worth more than an hour of safe small talk. And if you want to understand the signs that she's already emotionally invested before you've even asked these questions, go back and watch our video on every sign a girl has a crush on you. It's already on the channel and it connects directly to everything we covered today. Go check it out right now.